Draven.Mehendisis says hi. Draven.Mehendisis says here I come. Draven.Mehendisis says Deading. Draven.Mehendisis says yes, Draven.
Welcome back in a new episode again for the Hunger Constitution system and using gameplay ability system in Unreal. Let's put some music.
With the YouTube music app, you
Oh
can just
no. Yeah. So I stumbled upon a short from Primachan, which is a YouTube technical programmer on YouTube, but he does a lot of software programming, world news, reaction. I think it might be like the most popular in the programming sphere, biosphere of YouTube. And in his short, he talks about the same thing I was talking about, similar thing I was talking about yesterday about the AI. So I will put this.
Can we all agree?
Just because, yeah, add something more to add to it. But it's similar to what I was saying yesterday.
I've been very bad at predicting the future. Can we all agree to that? So I am willing to say I don't know. Let's just consider all the talk about GPUs and all that, and all the capacity problems that are existing with just purely energy and the ability to meet all forms of white collar jobs. That is a real problem, right? We can all agree that that's like a real physical constraint that I just do not believe that white collar jobs will be able to be automated. But let's just say that white collar jobs can be automated, okay? And this is exactly the same thing with Dario. Let's just say this is the case. Exactly what he says. So right now, this is kind of
Dario, I think, is the guy the CEO of Anthropic, who's owning Claude. Dario Anthropic. Dario Amodei. And he hates him. Like, he constantly, not hate, but he speak a lot against him.
of our world, right? Our world exists something like this, where you have some sort of structure that looks like this, which of course, if you can't tell, this is Illuminati. Oh my gosh, it's the Illuminati. Okay, anyways, it looks something like this, where there is a manager and there's ICs, right? And the ICs go off and they do work, and the manager apparently is like the shit rolls down the hill manager who then takes the upper vision and makes it into practical steps on the ground, blah, 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 blah. The guy just got done saying is that whatever these ICs do, whether it's coding, anything that's a white collar job at all, also that was a completely straight line until I got a touch optimistic at the end by 1 pixel. Absolutely incredible. I'd like to see Mr. Chief Scientist do that. So what he's saying is that all of these within 12 to 18 months, AI is going to be capable to do all these positions. So that means there would be an agent for whatever this IC is doing. There's an agent for whatever this IC is doing. There's an agent for whatever this IC is doing. And that's that. So then that means your manager would have to go from manager to some sort of agent master. Drives all the agents. Okay, let's just take this exact same picture. And couldn't we just do that again? Meaning that instead of ICs right here, we have agent masters. The agent masters can just be automated because we can just simply have an agent master agent, right? That's easy. You could have a fleet of agent master agents that are easily controlled by one person at that point, right? Well, what's the problem with that? Well, couldn't you have an agent master who then gets turned into an agent, right? Like each one of them, if you can automate the bottom layer, you should be able to keep on automating all the way up. My only question then is, isn't this guy's job? Didn't he just say within 12 to 18 months his job's gone? Because what is he really doing? Like, wouldn't his stuff just kind of go out? So like if his prediction is correct, he's also out of a job. Yes, he said all white collared work, and he's wearing the whitest of all the colors. He really is.
So what I wanted to add is the thing is, where does it end? And eventually, like, it reach everyone. So even the consumer becomes AI, in the sense that a consumer already are going to use AI tools to find product, and it's like even me, when I'm searching for a product, I will ask AI sometime. And eventually, where does it stop? Even there, like, do we need to create AI consumer, like they consume and they buy? And at this point, it is like because the issue sometime you would try to reach, not the issue but the solution is by finding the bottlenecks, and eventually the bottlenecks become the consumer and they need to be replaced in some kind of way. But yeah, prior to that, I remember when I thought about AI, I realized, like, okay, I remember before, like around 2022, when it started, like the ChatGPT started, and no one knew about it. Like, it was not that no one knew. It was like it was not popular. Like I didn't hear people talking about it as much. Like I remember when it started to be like publicly popular. I heard ChatGPT in the subway. This is a kind of indication that was not there when ChatGPT started in 2022. Release in 2022. Okay, exactly what I was. So 2022, when it started, I started school in programming, so I had the chance to not have it right away. But it was a bit like sketchy, not sketchy, but not good. Very good at programming, so I use it not very much. And I introduced it to my comrade in class. As you can see, like even people in class didn't know about it. Like I was the only one knowing about it. And at that time, what I thought about it is like, okay, eventually, yes, it will grow and it will replace jobs, and it will grow beyond coding and email picture generating. So it will go into robots, and it will replace physical work and so on. And even then, I think people started to use the term AGI. That is still in use today, with other terms like spatial term that they add. But at that time, like it was some kind of the singularity where it grows exponentially. Like since AI can code, it will code itself, and it would make better code of itself what we did, and so on, and it will be exponential. Like it will be an exponential growth at the point that every new technology will be so fast that the world will change incredibly fast, and we won't be able to comprehend the situation. Like new technology every day, etc. That are so advanced from one another that yeah, we wouldn't be able to keep up as consumers. I don't know if it's possible, but that was like the singularity AGI stuff, and eventually it came that they were starting to say like, oh, it's happening in 2025 next year, something like that. And when and I was like, yeah, I'm not sure about that. And even before, because I was already fed up when it started to be a bit more popular, a bit more public. I was already like deceived by, oh, it's not that good, like it's not what they promised. And when I ended school, not quit, I ended school with my diploma. In programming, I wanted to be independent, and I was checking out the tax credit for enterprise, and there was a lot of tax credit for anything AI. Like it was incredible. It was not. It was before the big boom. Like ChatGPT started to be known at this moment, and there was not the big boom of enterprise so much, because they were already starting. Those enterprises were using the credit, tax credit, and anything that venture capitalism and capitalists, and anything that the government support with tax credit. All of that was already there, and startup were starting at this moment. And now today, we see like the unresolved situation where they don't do as good, and people are fed up. Like there's a counterculture that is growing up. Every time in history, you always have this situation where there's a big push of a culture and an anti-culture start to grow afterward. After the initial push, you see this with in music, especially. It's more visible, and trends in younger generations, since like the 50 last decade, and more. You see countercultures like let's say pop. You had like I see one specific, the main one because I grew in it. It was like in the 80s, you had the pop rock band with hair. I don't know what is the name in English. Like hairstyle, crazy hairstyle, and tight pants. I cannot write without my French keyboard, my French layout. Damn it. Well, yeah, I don't know what's the name, but yeah, the rock band with a lot of product in the hair. And it was pop, like Van Halen and Van Halen and Def Leppard, not Def Leppard, but it was a bit. You can hear Van Halen is a bit pop. That's not where a lot of, but there was a lot of band like that with a lot of the singer is more in the style of, I don't know what is their haircut, but like every some kind of pop rock band in the 80s until the 90s was similar to that, and there was a counterculture after that. It was the grunge counterculture of this era. It was like those guys usually, the pop rock was like the popular guy in school, stuff like that, and it was the picture of the popular guy in school, or the like the rebel guy. But this image changed with grunge, and Nirvana was one of the main grunge, and it was more like a bit of not nerd, but not the popular guy, and it be like this counterculture was less pop, more against the establishment, even though it's still like it has manager and it has to do money, but like the lyrics and it was more dark and less light. It was like very like the pole change of we won't do what was done before. We will be like opposite, slightly opposite to what was done before. And you have like, there is not just counterculture, but it's a picture that occurs when people are fed up of a trend and not an opposite trend start. And with AI, I feel like it started at around 2005, and it's getting a bit more. I feel like it might grow more and more, and eventually the new kind of AI that are not LLM, that are new structure, they will face a stronger counterculture than GPT did. And it won't be like a fight. It's like I cannot see what it can be, but I feel like not I feel, but I see in my imagination that it will face a stronger counterculture. And people like when they talk, and especially when someone is pro AI and they say like, oh, it will be AGI, they will forget that the physical world has limitation, and they just imagine, okay, no, it will be unstoppable. And that's why like 2025 was not the year of AGI, or neither was 2026, or neither will be the next and the next years, because there's always a limitation in the physical world where eventually we something grow very fast, but it reach a place where there's not enough of this matter to produce, not enough of this energy, or the usage of such energy produce pollution, and this pollution is contained into an atmosphere and things like that our imagination does not see all those little details. So eventually anything that grows in this world in exponential rate, they end up doing a graph that slow down and stop being exponential. And it does not mean that eventually things will be very different. Neither. And other stuff that made me think that aside from this is okay, what is money? Because now AI replaces job. What does it mean? And why it cannot work slowly? It cannot go slowly. But I mean, it can work, but it cannot be that slow with one job after another. Because what is money? Money is good and services. Wealth is good and services. And what does it implies is that when I said this maybe 3 or 4 times live, but I got many hours live, so it's fine to repeat, and I guess I should repeat. Money, when you live on a secluded island, let's say like everyone died in the world and you are just two on an island, money cannot have the same meaning ever, cannot have the same value that it had, because money is workers and goods, good and services. So when you remove services like programmer, artist. The the rest of the wealth is diminished in services. So the total of money is as less workers, they need to find a new job, and there's a moment where some people don't have job and they need to maybe go to study a new something, get a new diploma, and then get a new job. It can be slow, so I might be wrong about this. So if it allows to settle down, okay, they find a new job, the whole wealth of the nations get better because they find a new job, etc. But the issue is that eventually the services in the part of money of wealth will diminish completely if we replace everything, like robots replace every kind of job, like there are. We would create robots that can be plumber, that can work in water, that can do everything. So there is no more services, only goods. So people possess only good. The thing is that now power is redefined. It means that there is no, you cannot work to have money. You are possessed. You belong to your country completely. Like it's your, like let's say like it occurs like there is no more services. It's all done by robots and AI. You belong to your country. You belong to government completely. Like you already belong to government, but now they feed you. Like they feed you money, fake money, like not fake money, but money that are goods, that represent goods, like the paper you have, the money you have on your bank account equates to goods, like all the unbought processed items that are in store waiting to be bought, or every raw material that are put out of the soil that are waiting to be transformed. All that is what equals your money. And how you win, you don't win money anymore. It's the government who distribute virtual money that they decide what the value, what is the value, but the real value is the goods, that is and the territory. The goods, the territory is part of the goods. So now you belong to the government, and you know that the government are employees like you and me. So the government become AI too, and because the goal is that no one has to work anymore. And this is something that is set up, is already, I've already been imagined, but not this way, but it's in works of fiction, like in Star Trek. No one works anymore. They have basic income, universal basic income, and they didn't do there is a story in Star Wars in the past, or how they came to be this way, but it's not the same way as, I don't know fully Star Wars, but I know there are like genetically modified human, like Khan is the one the character can, and they fight like they are like the enemy. They make wars with the humanity, and that leads to the Star Trek we know, like the world where they are. And yeah, I don't know how they end up having no more work, but as you can see, they still work. What I think will occur is that people will have hobbies, and they will do, like in Star Trek, they will do this. Will still do art and learn science and do whatever. And the counterculture, I think, might happen is that people don't care about not using AI, and they still do and craft stuff. And craft, they still learn to do, just like today people do and craft stuff. Like they're still blacksmiths. When you get it's like the invention of cars didn't stop people doing race on foot. Like there are races with cars. There might be, like, eventually in the future, very probably there will be a robot Olympic, but there will still be human Olympics. There might be genetically modified human Olympic, non-genetically modified human Olympic. And there's many fights we have today in politics that will be resolved eventually. That has to be, especially with CRISP, gene modifying technology that is coming. People would change gender. It would be just a matter of changing the genetic code, and then it will completely change the political view of people. And AI too will change completely the political system. It's too old now. It's like 300 years old. It's a very old political system. It's strange that it didn't change. Yeah, we are still like with a very old system, like not updating, voting for representatives. That's how to dilute your political power. It's to vote for someone else. For voting for a representant, and then you make a hierarchy that eventually left people with two opposing choice, which is, as I see often, it's a false dichotomy, a false dilemma. Politics forces us in a false dilemma, and this is made so that every 4 years we just go into a box and pick one or the other, and it's meant to be fast. And this is the wrong way of doing politics. People should know what they do, what they vote, and it shouldn't be 2 bucks. It should be every single decision, and they should be able to read or not. I think of a system where a system where people go and they can vote right away. Not go. It could be online, of course, with security and all. But it could be online, and it could be on an app or something that you can vote by just, okay, I know the subject, I don't want to read. And the apps knows like what you know, in the sense like you would have more than a 4-year break to do politics, because now it makes you currently the system makes you argue against other people, and it makes you think that this is politics. This is you having political power, is arguing with someone else to convince the other person. But this is not political power. Political power is when you vote, and now it's very diluted. Like you vote every 4 years for a representative. Like it's very diluted. You how to not be diluted that's this way, you would need to vote way more often, and not a representative. You will need to vote for the law. You will need to vote for anything that the parliament vote for, and then your vote wouldn't be that diluted. You would have your real political power. Yeah, man. But anyway, enough talk for today. Let's do this. Let's work on the real subject. Okay. Today I will just try to learn the GAS system, or well, GA system, gameplay ability system inside Unreal to implement my constitution system with hunger. Satiety. How do you say satiety? Satiety. Satiety. It's similar in French. I just want to hear it.
Satiety.
Satiety. Yeah, I said it like in French. Satiety. Satiety. In French, we say satiety. Satiety.
Satiety.
Where is the French one?
Satiété.
Satiety. This was very Parisian, like European French.
Satiété.
Very. Okay, let's do this. Satiety. Satiety. The music is gone. This is a old, more modern Final Fantasy, but still old. It's Final Fantasy 9. I think it's like around 2009 or something. It's already old. 2000. Oh, 2000. Damn. It's really old. It's still old, but to me, it's a new one. I didn't like it. But maybe I would play and like it. I would play again if they made a remake. But it was like chibi style. They were returning to the chibi. They like big head and big arms, big hands. Final Fantasy with the old black magician, chibi style. The black magician and the very old Final Fantasy 2. And there is always still in every Final Fantasy there's a Kupo. It's not cup. Kupo mug. Oh, that's why his name Kippo Mug, because it's a cup. Where is Kippo Mug? Did they forget about him in this Final Fantasy? Let's remove Final Fantasy. No. There we go. What? This guy. Oh, it's K. I think he's in all Final Fantasy. It's like a mascot of Final Fantasy. I don't want Mug. I think it was Mug with a O, maybe. Yes. Okay. Let's do this. I think the author, the music compositor might not have been Nobuo Uematsu at that time. He left in Final Fantasy VII, I think. I'm not sure. And then he later came back for later Final Fantasy games. But yeah, he did all the old Final Fantasy music. That's why I don't go after Final Fantasy set with the music usually. It's not Nobuo. Okay. There was an update on close. I wonder what it is. I hope it won't update to... Okay, it's just 34. Because I want to stay on 2022. I think, yeah, in the documentation of Unreal, they suggest to stay in 2022. The version of the year. Not to stay in the year 2022, stay with coming Visual Studio. Yeah, about the counterculture. Yeah, there was a band like Metallica started to be a different. It didn't follow, like, maybe at the beginning they had like the hair, but they were a bit darker. What other band? I think Megadeth. Was with the big hair. A bit Metallica style too. There was pop. I don't know them like that because I didn't listen to. The least. I listened to Van Halen because he played guitar and was into guitar. But Can't think of a name like Twisted Sister, I would say. But this one like is an exaggeration of it. Like it's almost comedic. When you see the main culture getting extreme, it's then that the counter culture start to appear. Active from 1972. And I wanted to see to show you Hegel. I'm like these, just to show like the counter culture is very old. There is not just counterculture, but yeah, this might seems like it's a there is
There have
just
been places and periods of history when only a congenital optimist could have had any hope for the future of our species. Think of the end of Athens' golden age, the fall of the Roman Empire, the petering out of the Renaissance, the end of the Enlightenment, the rise of fascism. It's when things look bleak indeed that it pays to remember the German 19th century philosopher Hegel. In his lectures on the philosophy of world history, published in 1830, Hegel offered us a way of looking at the darker periods of history that neither glosses over their pain nor refuses to give up hope, but intelligently helps us to understand why human progress cannot be linear, while encouraging us to trust that it does occur nevertheless. For Hegel, history moves forward in what he termed a dialectical way. A dialectic is
I think if you search on YouTube, people will say it's not dialectic is not from Hegel.
a philosophical term for an argument made up of three parts: a thesis,
If I remember
an
well,
antithesis, and a synthesis.
especially this part. I think I'm not sure. I don't remember well, but people will say this is not Hegel. This is another guy.
Both the thesis and the antithesis contain parts of the truth, but they are also exaggerations and distortions of the whole, and so need to clash and interact until their best elements find resolution in a synthesis. One cannot, in short, get there in one leap. Hegel thought this pattern constantly observable in history. The world makes progress by lurching from one extreme to another as it seeks to overcompensate for a previous mistake, and generally requires 3 moves before the right balance on any issue can be found. So, for example, the ancient Athenians discovered the idea of individual liberty, but their regime was blind to the need for collective discipline and organization. The ancient Persians knew all about that, and were thereby able to conquer the Athenians on the battlefield. Yet they were also despotic enemies of free.
It's pretty much all of this dialectic. But I would say, as I said, it's not just that. There's other stuff, other things, of course. You don't only see countercultures. Sometimes it does not. It's not as obvious as that, but a lot of time it is in the sense that we often create our own enemy by just being extreme, by pushing something, an idea too hard. People counter-react. They will pick it makes people pick a side when you show a side. When you show one specific face, people will tend to pick your side, go with you, and then another group will show the opposite. The stronger it is. There's many things like that wouldn't exist today, and after 1954, that it wouldn't exist because of the Second World War, and especially in cultures like the black culture, the liberation, and anti-racism would be wouldn't have been so strong if there wouldn't have been like the horror of Second World War. A lot of it is, yeah, there was a lot of denunciation after, like it was not bad, like there was when Nazi started to show and their how they were against Jews and all of that. Even in the United States, people were not show were not afraid to show that they were for it. You would see like Disney, Walt Disney was not against Nazi. I think Ford, people like that, and it's afterward, like after the war, people started to denounce strong racism in the army, American army, and it wouldn't have happened without the war. Like the all the counter culture against Nazism and racism, Eugenism wouldn't have existed. But it needed to go through this because now people it started with the idea that okay, we are made of genes, so we can make better genes, and the idea of the Übermensch from Nietzsche, and people were less religious. It was like, oh, science is showing us that, yeah, we are made of something we can control with how we are born, what we let being born and what we don't. And this idea needed to show off, so for people to know that it's not a good one, for people to say, okay, no, we we lose moral, we lose what makes us moral. Yeah. Now it's installed. Let's go do it. Yes. It's so loud on your side. I think I will take a little break and I will come back real fast in a few minutes, like maximum 15 minutes. See ya. So yeah, I forget what I was talking. I remember parts that I wanted to say, and like I was saying, I think of an app for politics that you would have to vote. You would have to vote for the decision similar to the parliament or law and everything. That's not voting for a party. And you would have like small quizzes to see how much of the subject you know, and like you would have to read before voting or not. And if you don't read, it will be written as considered as uninformed, and then you will have the result. Because sometimes you want the vote to go fast, so people don't have to know a lot of all the subject, like resume, a nutshell on the subject. And if the quiz result into something like, oh, he does not know much of the subject, but he had to vote right away, then it would say like, okay, the result is that it's 60% for and 80%, like 40% against, or something like that, and it would say like 60% for was on 20% uninformed, because it would check everyone how much they know about the subject. And so like you would know those for whom it is vote, because now let's say it's a subject about commission, and there is a commissioner that needs to take action from the result. Then he will know, okay, I have this range of maneuver. The range of, what is maneuver in English? Maneuver. I have this range of maneuver because now people were uninformed, but they vote for. So what can I say when I meet with the reporters? I can say, okay, I had this vote with the percentage of unknowing people, and I can just say we failed because of that. Or else it can be another thing, not a commissioner. A law. Sometimes, a lot of time, like in conflict, in political conflict, there's something important missing. Instead of, like, people think that they have to convince other people, but that's not what politics should do. It should be a diplomacy. It should be, okay, what are you willing to give? So I have this and you have what you want. We both have what we want, but we have to make concessions. That should be how politics work, but now it's conflict. Let's try to convince the other until it change idea, but it will never work like that. People won't change idea from being convinced. Maybe a bit, like maybe a small percentage will, but not enough. I don't think it's a large enough percentage to make a difference. But on the other end, if it's diplomacy, if it's an exchange where people say, I'm willing to give up this, so I have this, and you, what is it that you are willing to give up, so you have whatever you need, whatever you want in the law, etc. And then it will be a long process but at least it won't be like trying to convince someone with arguments. Okay, let's do this. So, what can I do from there? I would need my items to have properties. Satiety, satiety property. What it was satiety? Satiety.
Satiety.
Satiety. This was a bit European accent.
Satiety.
Yes. Similar to European French. French Canadian is similar to American English, as Mexican is similar. And European Spanish is similar to European in the sense, not in the sense of word, but in the accent. It's more effeminate in Europe. And I asked for people out, like Latino in friends, how do you perceive European version of Spanish? And they say, yeah, it's a bit more effeminate, a bit less rough. So I was wondering, because I noticed English too is more like sophisticated in Europe. If to use another term, if it's offensive to say effeminate, I would say sophisticated, as is French in Europe. So just like French in America is more rough, it's less sophisticated, more into we are free and we don't care. We are free to speak whatever we want. And in French Canadian, there's another aspect that is like a bit of self derision. Not so much self derision. I think it's the wrong. It's some kind of modesty with a mix of self-derision. In the sense, like we know we are not that important. We don't care. In that sense, like in art, in television, it's like in the culture, because we were left. In the history, we were left by France, and we were invaded by imperial English that flew from the United States up in the north when American citizen rebelled against the British Empire. They flew up and they invaded us. And since then we started to be we started a feeling of not taking us seriously, in the sense not taking us for something bigger, something huge. Well, it's a bit of not self-derision so much, but it is sometimes. Okay, let's implement it. Less talking, more doing. Less talking. We do a lot of comedy, dramatic comedy. Yeah. Often in French Canadian movie, there's sadness and then laugh. sad part and then the funny part. I don't know why. To lift up the sad part, I guess. Perfect. So I would need to make an up the satiety inside the object. And to do this, I will need to make a data that hold the properties of object. So it would be like a data asset. This is a good version, but it's AI. But AI did a good version of this music. It's a good choice to have bigger voice. Usually it's an instrument that does this part. Okay. So it would be for the food. Let's do this. Okay, here I'm trying to repair the build file, the new build file. So I would not do it here. This is not the clone, the main. So I will go on in the clone. French Canadian, we are not often known in the world. You will know a few that are like known across the world. Celine Dion, Denis Villeneuve, that is like finishing Dune right now, and a part of that there's maybe a few other, but it's the two main I see right now that I would say their name, and anyone might know them. Might. But yeah, it would seem Denis Villeneuve movies would not reflect the French Canadian movies we have. He did Hollywood stuff. Instead, he didn't do. I don't think he did French Canadian movies. Let's see. Denis Villeneuve. This is how you say Denis Villeneuve, not Denis Villeneuve movie. Denis Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve. Did he do? I think Incendies. Maybe. No. I don't think he did a French Canadian movie. But there's a French Canadian girl in Incendies. I don't remember this movie. Blade Runner, Cesario. Prisoner. I remember Prisoner. What is that? Oh, he looks like Frank Ebert. Look at this. Frank Ebert there, Denis Villeneuve. Maybe that's why he did Dune. Let's see his oldest movies. Oh. Oh, it was. Oh. Yeah, he did some short films in French Canadian. Oh, this is a gun. A guy who killed people in a school in Montreal. Polytechnic. It's a true story. And then he started to do Hollywood movies. Okay. Oh yeah, forgot to show you. There was 2 files that I didn't show you yesterday. Yesterday in the previous episode. The files, 2 files. 2 files. I need to go in there. Branches. Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop. Comments. Adding constitution system plugin on. Side by side. So the 2 files are the player stick, not UASset, but I think there's UASset to do in there. Player state. Let's see. It's C++. Fire. Game data. Did I show you the game data? Adding this and this. Yeah. Can I zoom in? Yeah. It's very light. There we go. So, help you see. Oh, this is the data file where you link the GE files. I think I've shown you this. What I didn't show is this one. So, you need to attach the ability system component in the constructor. Create it, not just attach. Create it, then replicate it on the server. Replicated mode, effective replication mode makes, and you set the constitution attribute set. Update frequency 100. This is a magic number. I will need to change it somewhere to make a name to it. Give a name. will do this right over. Not do this, but add a note. Don't want to leave it right like that. Oops. Plugin, keepers, layer, source, layer state. To-do for me. Store value in value magic number in data. I will do this later. Eventually, by modifying everything. So it's just that. So it adds the ability component on the pound. Oh, player. Oh. I was just looking at if the file were deprecated file were all moved correctly. Did I have to do something specific? I don't think so. So all the component it's not there. Auto pickup is there. Auto pickup is there. I'm on the wrong path. It's the state. Okay, the component is on the state. I in my head I thought that the pound is because I saw in the U asset was modified, but I just updated Gasp. I duplicated Gasp and brought out all my stuff there. That's why it was modified. Yeah, because Gasp had an update, so I wanted to be sure to have everything updated. The state is the one with the, and to see that, open, and it's there. And you see when there's edit in C++, it means it has been added in C++. In the pound you can see there's only this one. Those are added manually by Gasp system because I duplicated their pound, and the guy who did this in their team added everything in manually. So ability system, there's nothing there. I prefer to set everything in C++. Anyway, yeah, there's nothing there to do. I remember there's nothing. Okay, replicate through. What else? and there's nothing else in this file. The header, those were old file I removed. I put the availability interface, system interface here. It inherit from the interface. So interface gives a contract, and the contract is you have to use the function that is declared inside. Which are the one I had it there. Those were old. I needed the pound to access. Why? I don't know yet. We will see the pound later, after this file. So yeah, interfaces, this is overridden. It's too loud. Why no override? This is not a contract from the interface. There is no override. Get constitution set, the convenience getter type, but to the concrete set avoid cast in the game mode. Okay, it's just to get the constitution set. You constitution attribute, which is this. I made it in my not a member variable because we see it in the editor. I think. I'm not sure. I might rename it. Because this one, yeah, this one we see it, but this one we see it on the player state, but it's not that important. It could be a member prefix. I'm not sure. It's this one. Component, I always remove the member prefix. So that's it for this file. And everything is used. Country constitution set. Sub object created here. The ability system. Component keeps a raw pointer to it internally. Lives on player state, so it persists through pound swaps. Good. Let's see the pound now. Player state, we access player state. Now we're replicates. The rest is at the bottom. I added the function as my guess. Get ability. That's why I get the player state. That's why it's a friend class. Player state get ability component. This is a if this is positive, then so it's a way to if this is positive true, so this is useless maybe, but at least it gives a message. But if this is true, it does this. If it's false, it returns a null pointer. So this is true of this. I could have used it. I thought it was just in C#, but now I see it's also in C++. I can use it. I like it sometimes. when you have if a short if true or false that goes into just 2 lines, but usable, and you know it won't change. What else? All this is added in init ability system. It really initialize it. Telgas owner player state where ability system component and attribute lives. This must be called on every time a new pawn possesses the player state. Apply startup gameplay effect server authority only on the client. The replicated attribute value will arrive via rep and notify. If that's authority, it gets the data. Data null gets the data. So it auto or not auto type, it will just get the type automatically that is pulled out from this. So it get this gameplay effect and template. Class. I will need to rename a bunch because it's not readable. With the just go capital. Make effect context. Add indicator. Ability component. Apply gameplay effect itself. It is applied. Okay. Apply GA data hunger drain. GA hunger drain. Okay. Look, I don't like text verification. It's slower. I don't know if it's there's another way. But when you compare string, a string is an array of character. So we'll compare every line, every index, and it's slower than an ID. Usually an ID will go faster because it's a number. If it's not hexadecimal is a number. It's a binary behind the scene. Okay. And the pawn header. I just add the oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, no. So also have an interface, ability system interface. The other one was the same. So they both should implement the override get ability system component. So both have get ability system component. Okay, and player pawn. It does not answer. The answer is on the other side, which was what we were looking. So it does not answer the same thing. It's called the player state. It uses the player state get ability system component. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's it. That was just this that I forgot yesterday to show you. No, I need to make a item thing. Maybe in the pick interaction now. Interaction system. It's just a file. It's very small. But it's not an interaction. I could put it in my source, but no. I would need to eventually erase all of that. It's not used, except maybe this one. Okay. How do I do my items? A plugin. It's already 9 p.m. Damn. It will be a plugin, even though it's one file. Maybe it will grow into some more eventually. Maybe I could put it in data because it's a data file. For now, I want to avoid making too many plugins. Yeah, it's the right place. Okay, let's do this. Let's stop wandering. Time for action. Date? A bit cacophonic. There is too melody, like AI sometimes it's not good. It was too cacophonic. Yeah, not good. So I like this music. Yeah, generated, I keep it like that. Yeah, I will stop joking. Now, the body. At least now I can copy paste this. You need to keep the U because it's a U data asset. So the data asset are visible in the editor, so everything is in capital Pascal case. And I would do default 0 properties. And the full name. Could be something like there's no name, buddy. Oops. Okay. Where is it? It's not there. Oh yeah, I didn't add it. So I don't like to put it there because it's a pickup component and I think I want my data to be for all items and not all items are. So I would need to rename uPickup component to interact component because now it needs to be more than just a pickup. It's all interactions. Yeah. Control RR. And interaction component. Or maybe more than interaction. because there's a proximity sphere, so it will be every kind of interaction, like eating, grabbing, etc. And I need to rename the file. This is like a good thing to do in code renaming when it does not fit anymore. Don't be afraid to rename. I should have keep what the AI told me and say name it in interaction. I think he said to name it interaction, if I remember well. This is remind me so much of my Yout. Making comic books with my friend. At one point we wanted to do a comic book of this Final Fantasy, which is the 4. And I remember we just started making the character and we stopped there. Like drawing the character. And we'd stop there and did something else and something else. And I rename this with RR. No, it's not Visual Code, VS Code. VS Code I would rename the file and it will rename everything inside the project. But here I don't think it does this in Visual Studio. I would just copy interaction so I don't need to write it. And now I need to search for pickup component. Be sure. Will this change? As AI told me that it shouldn't be called arrow pickup. It would become allo interact. Or interactable component. Yeah, interactable component. No, it's true, it's not. Because I want to make the difference. Allow pickup is for the character. It allows the character to pick up. It would be allow interact. not interactable. Is there a better word for interactable? Something that interact or with other stuff, that inanimate stuff. Was there? Component. This is just allow. What is this? What is this file? Is generated from compilation? Oh, it's source. Oh, it's Unreal who created this a long time ago when I created the project. Pick up. There's no more. Only in the build. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's allo. Allo pickup, keepers, pickup component. So allo pickup. But with the component we put on someone that allows this someone to pick up stuff. Interactable is the only one. I like ChatGPT for names. Name for list of names. List names for component put on entity that make it able to interact with items like interactable. List let's say 50 names. Eventually we will find something interesting. Interactor. Interaction can interact. Yes, can interact can be. It could be one. Interactability, because can interact is short. Tell everything it needs to. But AI said don't use Boolean name. I know it has to be like a convention and a best practice, but looking for the smaller word. Interactor, interactor. Interactable. Can interact. It's almost. It can interact is shorter. ABLE. Can is just 3. It's a bit shorter. But yeah. Interactor can be one. Good one. It's just like too inhuman. I see a robot that is an interactor, but not a human. Interactor, maybe. Yeah, interactor. Maybe interaction is not the right word. Sorry for this, but I want a good name, so when it's like 5 months later, I read it and I know exactly what it does. Interaction component, because I will forget in 5 months. Now I'm fresh, I know, but I know that I will forget. Or at least I will have the memory blurry about it. So it has the sphere, right? It checks the proximity. It's at the sphere. List 50 for names for component that as that add an interaction zone to items. The smallest one. Yeah, it does not. Interactable. And the other one, the character would be interactor. Now it's a good name because the two are some kind of a complement to each other. Yeah. But this one becomes a problem. Oh no, this one can still keep the name pickable, because it's only about what can be picked. Because of the size, it deals with the size. So this one really interactable, and the other interactor. That way I know each other are complement. everyone. And now Pikachu becomes Pikachu. Hello Pika become Interactor. Oops. And yes, everything's fine. Okay. I don't know if this message will change because now it will every interact might pass through with a new message later, not now. Later, alligator. Rebuild. I think I should play stop there, play a little bit and go. That way I don't sleep too late. It might not compile because of the renaming. But if it compiles, I go and play. It's okay for the delay. Even if it's not a lot. At least we are set for the further modification. With just renaming stuff. Dude, I prefer to do a lot more offline and show, because when I create it is so long, sometimes there are bugs and I'm stuck in a bug for hours. And it's not very cool to be stuck online on a bug. When I do it offline and come back and it's solved. Just show the solution. So allo pickup component. It's an interactor, my boy. Let's do a control strip interactor. So Visual Studio didn't do its job of replacing all. Okay. Yes. 17 job not done. Let's build again. Was it the right one? No. Please. Okay. It was really difficult. I'll pick up you. What's wrong? The interactable. Let's do the work that was not done. Pickup component. Interactable. Table. Component. Replace all. We needed to do allo pickup because 11 occurrences body. Now we need to rebuild. They did it right. I knew what was going to happen in the music. Yeah. Almost there. What's wrong? Okay, it's really... It broke this one. Because now it renamed it. Damn it. Ay, ay, ay. Que mierda. Que mierda. Ay, 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 que mierda. Source. What? Why can I see it? Oh, it's in there. Those are made by... What happened? Oh, I disappeared. I think, oh, I'm back. What happened? I think, NVIDIA broadcast, something went wrong. Okay, I will go fast. So, this is their real name. I will give it back. So this is made by Unreal. When you create a new project, they already have a similar thing, making a sphere. So they also name it Pickup. Just, oh, maybe I rename it with the U even one time. Okay, let's try this. Some fire, just this far. I will remove my face in case it crashes, and I will close NVIDIA broadcasting.